Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's having a great night. Thanks everyone for being here. Hopefully my audio is going to hold up. Last night it seemed to do okay. I had someone tell me to stop logging into StreamYard from like my Google Chrome browser. So that's what I did. And last night it seemed to be better. Hopefully, some of you who are still in the chat, let me know. Give me some thumbs up, thumbs down on the audio here. Let me know if I sound clear. You know, we'll do a quick little audio check before we get too far into this. Hope everybody's having a great night. Thanks for being here. Dawn, hello. Hopefully you're still here. Mittens for Kittens. How you doing, honey? Welcome on in. Sharon, hello. Michelle F., hello. Teresa, good evening. Typically, always good to see you. Welcome in. Gracefully Salty, hi. The Done One, hello. Yvonne Poole, you're dyeing your hair real quick, girl? You go for it. Do it up. Nola, New Orleans lady. There you are, darling. So good to see you. Simply Solo, hello. Kennedy, hello. Gabby Abby. Well, thank you for being here and listening to my thoughts. Appreciate it. Trust me, I know they're all over the road. Need some Z's, hello. Moonville, hello. How are you? Hopefully, this is gonna go smooth for us friends. Let's hope. Cat K, hello. How are you? Can you guys hear me okay? My audio good? I don't want to get too far into this, you know what I mean? Hopefully it's gonna hold for me. Chanty, always good to see you. Starting into your day here, huh? Well, I'm sure you guys saw my post today. I have a lot of thoughts. Technically, the live tonight is for the Unsealed doc. The States Objection to Defendants offer proof regarding alternate Perps. I know we read the defenses, right? Yesterday? Was that yesterday? I think it was. So I know we read that yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to see it, the audio was great the entire way through to the last couple of minutes. So if you want to go watch it, it's linked in the description of this video. So we did read the defenses. Reply to the state's objection. I didn't realize the state's objection was there yesterday, or I probably would have. I would have read both. So bad, guy. I didn't remember both of them there. Okay, I got too ahead of myself. You know what I mean? Bree Sully. Hey, girl. Hey. What up, gangsta? Bree. Hello, Bree, darling. Good to see you. Truth Seeker. Up. Come on. Good to see you. Right so far. It's a to me cutting out pretty good. Okay, well, thank you, Need Some Z's. Trust me, I want you to tell me. I would rather my chat and my mods tell me your audio sucks rather than letting you sit for 2 hours with bad audio. You know what I mean? Okay, what up? Welcome on in. Let me see if I can do something here with my audio. Hang on, friends. Let's try something. Let's fix this. Let's go to that. Don't know if that's going to help at all. Hopefully it does. Think I should do that maybe. And then that's all off. And this should be like that. Okay, so far as I know, everything on my end for audio should be fine. I will tell you, I know I'll leave a live earlier. His audio is usually great, and even his shit was clipping out almost the entire live. And Lana, yesterday, I know some of her lives had to be pushed back because StreamYard is having a problem, guys. We have huge geomagnetic storms, S-class solar flares shit happening. So probably just be having some tech and audio issues. Yeah, I know. It's kind of the norm here, but I promise you it's not always me, okay? They've checked all my shit. It's not my computer, it's not my laptop, it's not my mic, and it's not my phone internet. Okay. So, I mean, I get it. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, um, to be honest with you. But hopefully, I mean, I don't know how bad it is. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, let me know. 1, not too bad. 10, it's fucking awful, and we'll just try it another time after the solar is done. I don't know if you guys know, but we're braced for impact up around her, okay? Huge geomagnetic storms, huge solar flares, never mind the big ass blood moon coming, full moon, with a full lunar eclipse, Uranus in retrograde. I mean, there's all kinds of shit happening right now. Oh, it's a 70 bond fuck. Well, I mean, I don't really know what to say. Willie's was like this his entire life, too. So I truly don't know what to say. As Willie's was absolutely also like his entire life today. So, weird. Let me see if I do that. B. That. I'm not sure. Maybe if I take that off. Hello, Amanda. Welcome on in. I mean, guys, if the audio, listen, I understand audio over here. I had someone, was something was live today. It was like, Anna's audio is always shitty. I'm like, well, yeah, sometimes it's not always me, though. Sometimes it's really not always me. So, I don't know, I guess we'll see how far we can get through this. Detective Mallory, welcome on in, you sandbagging son of a bitch. How are you doing? Good to see you, sir. Always good to see you. Gracefully salty. Sounds good now. Better now. Changes as we go along. Yeah, I mean, just all with friends. I know Willie's is really bad today, too. I mean, if you can understand me, I guess, and it's a little clippy and choppy, there's really nothing I can do about it. I know StreamYard's been having issues, like, since yesterday, so I don't know if it's on errand or what. It's coming in and out. Interesting. I don't know why it would be going in and out, Stone. Like I said, I've said it before, I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm like hardwired into my internet, and I pay top dollar for fiber optic high speed fucking shit. So, I don't know what's happening. Mittens for kittens. You just finished the 2020 doc. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm sure. Miss Miss Prime. Uh, okay. Alright, well, thanks, Need some Z's. You guys know, if it's really bad, I just like wasting people's time. I want to waste my time, not to waste yours. I don't want to spend 30 minutes trying to figure out what's going on with my audio if there's nothing I can do about it. Um, you know. Oh, well, thanks, Kim. I appreciate that, honey. I appreciate that. I've had a lot of people talking mad shit about me lately. And think I don't see them because sometimes I chat, but I'm not saying nothing. I just lay back in the cut, clocking bitches all day long. So they don't even know that I'm chilling, watching them talk shit. And then when they try to come over to my chat to be nice and fucking hysterical to me, you know. So yeah, it's cool. It's all good. Exactly, Kim. Fuck 'em. No, Stone, I'm not using a USB mic. I know somebody asked me that too. Nope, not a USB mic. It sure isn't. Should not. W, hello. Good to see you. Welcome on in. Amples Park, hello. I'm not sure. I haven't watched it, okay? I haven't watched it. I don't usually watch like 2020. I don't watch none of that shit. Yes, that's what I said. Detective Mallory. Yeah, yeah. I will literally lay in the cut of someone's entire chat and never say a word. I'll never say a word and I just watch it. You know, because it's always good to just lay in the cut and clock hose. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. Because two streets, no joke, and people will literally fucking smile in your face and talk shit about you behind your back, you know? Especially if they think you don't have Discord or they think you can't see Twitter or, yeah. It's super, super interesting, actually. Audio interface. I have the mic that I have is strictly, it's like specifically for streaming. And all I know is it has its own like auxiliary that plugs in. So I don't know. Right, skull chat. Yeah, you just like cut. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. Just like cut. So, anyways, what I wanted to get into tonight, Jesse, there you are. Good to see you. So good to see you. Apogee Boom is a good one. Mic interface, $50. Really? Oh, well, thanks, Dan. I'll look into that. Oh, $250. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, thanks. All right, so what I wanted to do tonight is go through this redacted States Objection to defend this, what the hell is it in right here? Make sure I say this right. States Objection to the defendant's offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators and defendant's evidence in support of the offer of proof for the alternate perpetrator. This is 11 pages. The reason we are doing this because I'm going to be super clear. I have been saying for months and months that there was not single source male DNA only located on the fucking IP. I've been saying it for months, and I've had multiple people tell me what an absolute idiot I am, and I know I'm not an idiot, and I know that when these lab people and investigators and prosecutors are discussing with each other, YSTR testing, okay? The reason they're doing YSTR testing is because they have a mixed motherfucking sample. And somewhere in there is a male. And the YSTR testing is done to extract that fucking male sample. So, after reading docs and knowing that what I'm reading, that I'll talk about YSTR testing, the mixed samples, okay? Fact of the matter is, as we go through this document, we will all see together. The state asserts that there were mixed samples on the sheath. It is not a single source man located on the sheath. It may be single source male in the snap is what they're claiming, correct? We'll go through it. But, I just wanted to kind of point that out here. What we're going to get into is the state actually conceding that there are mixed samples on this sheet. Furthermore, there were alternate perpetrators who had their DNA allegedly taken and compared to the male DNA that was extracted from mixed sample off the sheet. So, we'll get into it. Sally Shepherd's in. Hello, thank you for being here, Lori. Welcome, welcome. It is Stone. It is mind-blowing. Kim Young, look at you. Kim, you're so great, and thank you so very much. Kim Young here gifted 5 memberships, so 5 of you just turned green. I can't see who got the gifted membership, but please make sure that you say thank you to Kim Young. Why is the audio so bad? Because you must be new here, and that's just how it usually is. Plus, StreamYard's having a lot of problems. Actually, I should put up a little fucking ticker at the bottom of the screen here, huh? The audio is bad because StreamYard. Let's fix that. So, as I was saying, thank you, Kim, for the gift memberships. It was very, very sweet of you. And if you got a gifted membership, please make sure to say thank you to Kim, because Kim just gifted you a membership if you got one. So yeah, not exactly sure what's going on, friends. It's premium. It sucks. There's nothing I can fucking do about it. Yeah, I can't see you, chat. But anyways, moving along. Yeah, sorry, dude. Audio's bad, man. Is what it is, friends. Did I do that wrong? Let's fix this. That like that. And we'll fix that. So, how bad is it though, guys? Because if it's really bad, I don't want to waste our time. You know what I mean? Just don't. I don't want to waste anyone's time. If you can hear me and you got to become a member, you have some pretty cool Michael Myers emojis that you can use. So go ahead and put them in the motherfucking chat. Okay? Because Kim gifted you a membership. So make sure you show Kim all the Michael Myers emojis. Okay? We have audio. I don't know, Lucy, do we? Beep, 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 right. Welcome on in, darling. Always so good to see you. For fuck's sake, Fitziana. Love you. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay. I mean, I'm not ready to pull the whole damn, I can think right up. I'm ready to throw it all out the window. I swear to God, guys, I could go buy $1,000 worth of new shit tomorrow. We're still gonna have problems. Compared to what it typically is, sound is very good. See, I trust needs some Z's when they say that. Absolutely trust needs some Z's when they say that. Brandon, you know it. That's right. Welcome on in, sir. You know it. We'll fight through it. We will fight through it. That's right. Guys, you are awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. I've had quite a few people tell me that I'm super mean and I have a bad attitude. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe you should come hang out over at the channel because I actually think I'm pretty nice. And actually, if you really knew me, you would know that I'm actually not mean at all. Murray Cat, for fuck's sake, see, I could tell you that personally. Lee could tell you personally. Lana could tell you personally. I'm actually an incredibly nice person. I'm super, super nice. I will just not put up with someone. The way that I feel about it is if you think you're going to snap at me, but then get mad because I snap back, oh well, go fuck yourself. You think you're going to talk shit, run your mouth and talk shit, but when I snap back, I'm the bad guy? Okay, okay. You can go fuck right off into the sun, right? So hopefully you guys all get that. I hope you know, but actually super, super nice. In real life, I'm just not going to tolerate assholes on the fucking internet. You know what I mean? Exactly. Exactly, Fitzy. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Okay? Anybody who's been around here for a real long time knows that long before I first started doing live or doing my own thing here, I was up on a lot of panels and I've had a lot of people come at me fucking hard. And no matter how hard they came at me, I tried to remain calm, remain neutral, and remain somewhat logical. You know, I never let it get to the point that I'm like fucking calling people names and, berating them or belittling them. At least I hope I haven't done that or made anybody feel like that, you know? But anyways, so I don't allow the gaslight here in kittens. I will not be emotionally gaslit because I'm not emotionally connected. WB, what up? Welcome on. Good to see you. Right, so let's get to this. Hopefully, this will. Uh, yeah, exactly, right? Most of us all talk exactly the same, but not in a line. Yeah. No, how I am here is literally how I am in real life too. Whether that's good or not, I don't know, but trust me, Lucy has all my voice text. She can tell you. How I talk here is exactly how I talk. Actually, I'm mild on here compared to my voice text, to be honest with you. I hope Lucy never one day decides to be like, you know what, her. I'm gonna take all of the voice texts and I'm gonna put them in a video. If Lucy ever decided to take all of my voice texts and put them in a video, actually, Lucy, you'd probably get a lot of views, bro. Actually, you'd probably you turn monetization on that one and make yourself a bang. Joanne, good evening, darling. Good evening to you. Stone, fuck your life. What? Is the audio that bad that you want to say fuck my life in the chat? Is it that bad? See, by the way, I saw that you uploaded a couple videos recently. Good for you, darling. I feel like you haven't put one out in a while. You delete them because you wipe your phone with sophisticated software? Good. I'm happy to know you delete my voice text. You skull try, thank you. I try. My audio, oh, okay, you don't mean the audio. Thank you. Thank you, Stone. I'm like, oh God, is it that bad? All right, so let's get into this. Enough of my bullshit, friends. Right? It's 11 pages. Let's see if we can do this with any problems. You guys know. Hello, welcome. If you're new here, thank you for being here. Mods, thank you for being here. All of you, thank you for being here. Uh, my name is Annie. I take no shit. I will allow you to gaslight me, emotionally manipulate me, and just like it says, uh, my little profile pic there for YouTube, true crime docs and snark. That's what we do here. We read docs from true crime cases, and then I just give my snarky ass fucking opinion. So there's your chance to click it if that's something you don't want to hear, or something you're not entertained by. But that's what we do here. Hopefully, my mods will welcome you in and say hello to you. And when I am in another window reading documents and snarking, I can't see my chat. So please stay kind to each other, have fun, and act adults. Yeah. Let's make sure you can all see this good. Take myself out of the way. Julianne, what up? Welcome on in, darling. Good to see you. That's right, Snark Tank. Snark Tank. There's probably going to be a lot for this talk, just so we're clear. We got 11 pages to go. And yeah, 11 pages. Oopsie, didn't mean to click on that. What did I do? Oopsie, get that out of the way. Sorry, guys. Okay, cool. Boston. What up, gangsta? My queen. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Boston's in house. Y'all better drop those my lives emojis if you can agree, because this right here is my queen. Okay. That's the queen. Miss Boston. Hi, honey. How are you? I'm so happy to see you here. You and Nola. Just love to have you guys staying on me. I'm kidding. Always good to see you, honey. You know I love seeing you in here. Gilly. It is Temu Yard all day. StreamYard's been fucked up all day long. It's not just me, guys, I promise. Really a problem with it too. It's not just me. Leah, beautiful Leah. Always so good to see you, darling. All right. Okay, friends, here we go. I'm going to go into another window and start reading. I guess if it's really bad, Heather will blow up my phone, probably. All right, so here we go. We have the Unsealed State Objection to the defendant's offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators and the defendant's evidence in support of offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators. Comes now, State of Idaho, by through Layton County prosecuting attorney, objects the defendant's May 14, 2025 offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators and the May 23, 2025 evidence in support of offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators. On April 18, 2025, this court and its order memorializing ruling motions in limine, which included the state's motion in limine to prohibit the defense from offering alternate perpetrator evidence. In that order, at page 6, the court directed the defendant must present offers of proof later than 14th, 2025, so that the matter can be addressed at the pretrial conference, which was scheduled for May 15th. The court recognized the Idaho Supreme Court's decision in State v. Ice, which held that, quote, mere inferences that another person could have committed the crime will most likely not be relevant, and if relevant, will still be subject to the limitation provisions of IRE 403. Sidebar, we'll pause here because, as we read last night, due process rights run evidentiary rules. Okay, so IRE 403, the limitation provisions of IRE 403 are quite literally irrelevant because the process right trumps rules of evidence. Correct? Stone will let you know. Silent G, if Silent G is in the chat, Silent G will also let you know. We just read through this last night. Just wanted to point it out. The court correctly noted, after all, defendant cannot merely show another person could have committed the crime. Rather, there must be evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking the third person to the actual perpetration of the crime. Sidebar, direct or circumstantial, meaning you actually don't need direct evidence linking the perpetrator and or perpetrators to the crime. It can absolutely be circumstantial, just like a circumstantial case against a coworker. The defendant subsequently filed his offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators on May 14, 2025. At the pretrial conference held on May 15, 2025, the court directed the defendant to submit actual evidence to support alternative perpetrator allegations, stating the defendant's May 14th proffer contained allegations that were, quote, fairly objectionable. Sidebar. The defendant's proffer was the state case in chief. Oopsie. So, Hitler, is what you're saying here, right? Because what the defense did is they took the state's case in chief, including the state's own witnesses, and the evidence that the state planned to present to show that these state witnesses who were once suspects were investigated and cleared. Those are your alt perps. The defense literally took the state's case in chief and presented it as their alternate perpetrator case. And Hitler saying here, well, what you present is very objectionable. Oops. Yes, Willie, Welcome on in. This is exactly what you sounded like, homie. Yep. Fucking fuck. Right? Well, let's see. Hang on. Maybe if I do that. Let's do this. Actually, you know what, friends? Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I'm gonna mute for 1 sec. Hang on. Hello? Hello, hello. Is this any better at all, friends? Not sure if you can hear me. Guys, gotta let me know. Does this sound any better at all? Batsheet. Hello, Batsheet. Welcome on in. Nope, I'm not muted. I was muted. You can hardly hear me. Okay, well, that's okay. We can fix that. That's all right. We can fix that. Let's take that off. Let's turn that up. Okay. How's that, friends? Is that any better? I just tried to turn it up as loud as I possibly could on my end. Let's get a whole minute verify, Stone. And that's okay because we're not too far into this anyway. I'd rather, better but still too low. That's weird. I have it literally all the way as high as it can go. Hmm, interesting. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, literally. Volume's up as high as it can go. Hmm, interesting. I mean, is it still clipping out really bad and I sound really low or Indeed. Hello, honey. How are you? So good to see you. Okay. Better? Little better? Still getting a little purple. Okay. I don't know. Hella, I was told actually, I was asked if I'm using a Chrome browser and someone told me not to. And last night, that's what I did. I did a live not using Google. I went through Microsoft Edge instead, like through Bing, and my audio was perfect all night last night in my live until like the last 2 minutes. And I know Willie was having problems all day with StreamYard. Lana last night had to push back some of her lives because her internet StreamYard crashing. So, I mean, I don't know. Let me see. 1 second. Let me try something. Hang on. Um, do, 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 do. Okay. I have turned up all the volume as high as it can go, friends, literally everywhere. So, can you not hear me? Or do I just sound like really low? Exactly. Don't be hating. You know it. You can hear me, Batsheet? Okay. All right. I mean, if we're good to go, then we're good to go. If I'm a little low or whatever, that's fine. I guess you'll just have to turn it up or put some headphones in, you know? You can hear me? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, well, Autobots, roll out, brooms up, just let's do this. Or you can hear me? Okay, cool. Brooms up. Let's go. So, let's go up here. Get to the important part here. All right, so they had their pretrial conference May 15th. The court recognized the Idaho Supreme Court's decision in State v. Meister, which held, quote, mere inferences that another person could have committed the crime will most likely not be relevant, and if relevant, will still be subject to the limitation provisions of IRE 403. If you didn't hear me earlier, what I said was your rules of evidence or evidentiary rules never ever trump someone's due process rights. Per the Supreme Court, due process rights always trump evidentiary rules. The court correctly noted, quote, after all, defendant cannot merely show another person would have committed the crime. Rather, there must be evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking the third person to the actual perpetration of the crime. So here where it says direct or circumstantial, right? You don't need direct evidence linking the perpetrator and or perpetrator to the crime. You can have circumstantial evidence linking them to the crime, just like the circumstantial case against Koberger, right? Defendant subsequently filed his offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators on May 14th, 2025. At the pretrial conference held on May 15th, 2025, the court directed the defendant to submit actual evidence to support his alternative perpetrator allegations, stating that the defendant's May 14th proffer contained allegations that were fairly objectionable. Sidebar. Let me come back over to chat. Okay. For Hipler to say that the defense presented as their offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators is fairly objectionable. The reason it's so funny to me is because the defense team literally took the state's case in chief and the state's own witnesses and the state's own exhibits for those witnesses and used them as their alt perp defense. Okay. So it's super interesting to me that Hipler, so I don't even think Hipler realizes that what he did here is that, what is it, Hitler? Is the state's case very objectionable or is the state's case trustworthy? Because what the defense did is they literally took the state's case in chief for the alt perps. Know what I'm saying? And that's what they use to present as their offer for alternate perpetrators. The 4 alternate perpetrators are literally were the state's own witnesses, and furthermore, they were originally suspects who the state were still investigating as of June of this year. Some of them were still under investigation. Just wanted to point that out. We read through that yesterday. I think it did just get unsealed, hella, or it may have been unsealed yesterday too, but I just didn't see it. Gen 7, what up, gangsta? Good to see you, darling. Boston became a member? And you look so pretty and green. Love, honey. Welcome. Welcome, new member. So isn't that so interesting that Hipler here is telling the defense that the what they submitted as their offer of proof, highly questionable, highly objectionable. It ranks speculation at best. And Miss Massett said, it's their case in chief. Tell me that's epic level troll. You understand, right? Miss Massett is a god emperor troll because that's what she did. It's wild. Miss Massett is literally a god emperor troll. The defendant subsequently filed his evidence in support of offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrator May 23rd, 2025. Yet, the defendant's proffered evidence is substantively no different than what the defendant alleged in his May 14th, 2025 offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators, with the exception of an redacted. It appears that in reality, the defendant merely wants to cross-examine various states' witnesses, as opposed to trying to make a case of an alternate perpetrator. No? No. While the defendant certainly has the prerogative. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, state. You sure the defendant has the prerogative to cross-examine the state's witnesses? Fucking asshole. The defendant certainly has the prerogative to cross-examine state's witnesses. He cannot speculate that a third party committed the crimes with which the defendant is charged. He absolutely can speculate, motherfucker. That's why it's circumstantial. Coming back to, hang on, coming back to chat, hang on. Lucy, go see Stone's comment, okay? Let me see. Okay. We'll go on a quick little sidebar here with this comment, Stone. Stone, I love you. And you have no idea how much I truly appreciate the advice that you tried to give me on the technical stuff. But almost everything that you just said in that comment is like Greek to me. I don't know what you mean. 44.1 sample rate. Check your microphone is not working at a higher sample rate. I appreciate you so much, but I literally, that's Greek and I don't even know what you mean. Okay. I mean, if I could just wrap you up in a little package, if you want to send yourself on over here in a package and come, play fiddly fuck with all the tech stuff, be my guest. Be my guest. Between Geek Squad, the internet company, and my partner, I've tried. Trust me, I've tried. We've tried everything. Internet companies test all my shit. I have no idea. So yeah, I'll definitely find out about this 44.1 sample rate. And sure, I'll try to figure out exactly what that is and whether or not my mic is doing that. I think he means try a crappier mic. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. A crappier one. Oh, I mean, I guess I could try that. I don't want to, but I guess I could. How many flashes of audio it captures in a second? Okay. Okay. I believe you, Stone. I truly believe you, but I just don't even know what you mean. I will ask my soon-to-be son-in-law about it. Maybe he'll know. Yeah. Oh, that's what I mean, Skullmachai. It happens to all of us, okay? I know it happens to me more than everybody else. I get it. But it's not because of my shitty equipment or shitty mic or shitty internet. None of I do live in a state, though, the internet just sucks generally for everybody. I will say that. So, gotcha, Hella. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see. Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys. You're also very nice, and I appreciate you trying to help me. Exactly, Lucy. That's what I do. I just blame spooks and solar flares. That's usually where I'm at. It's spooks or solar flares. It happens in current video. Okay. All right. So let's get back over to this. So I think it's interesting here that the state is trying to claim the defendant cannot speculate that a third party committed the crimes. Well, they can't speculate. That's why they're also allowed to present circumstantial evidence. Isn't circumstantial evidence kind of the same thing as speculation? No. I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. When something is circumstantial, doesn't directly link you or anything. It's just more of a hypothesis, it's a speculation. All right. This is the essence of the limitations and requirements related to alternate perpetrators. It remains the state's position that any attempt by the defendant to offer or argue an alternate perpetrator theory without evidence specifically connecting persons other than the defendant to the homicides would do nothing more than mislead and confuse the jury and would also result in undue delay, waste of time, needless presentation of cumulative evidence, and unfair prejudice to the state. And that's actually the real. Get all this. That's the real right here. Unfair prejudice to the state. That's what they're really worried about. Well, how the fuck do you expect us to refute any of this? She took our own fucking witnesses and is using them against us as her alternate perps. How are we supposed to combat that? That's unfair prejudice, Your Honor. Turning next to the four individuals the defendant wishes to argue as alternate perpetrators, the state addresses each in turn. As discussed below, the court should preclude alternate perpetrator evidence as to each because the defendant has not provided admissible evidence linking them to the homicides as required under Meister. Well, under Meister, you wouldn't even have to present proof of your alternate perpetrator until trial, asshole. Isn't it interesting they only want to cite Meister when it fucking suits them? And the fact of the matter is, in Meister, you would the Meister court decided you present your proof of alternate perpetrators at trial. Or am I getting them confused? Meister and Buck. Yeah, no. Meister court determined you present your proof of alternate perpetrators at trial, and Buck decision is the one as the state filed their motion and let me refer first about the alternate perpetrators. That's why the court heard it first to determine if it was admissible and or relevant, correct? Trying to remember. I'm almost positive, if I remember correctly, Meister, you would present your offer of proof for alternate perpetrators at trial. Someone in my chat will be like, no, you're wrong. They'll tell me. Lucy, is that correct, darling? Right. Meister, you present your proof of alternate perpetrators at trial. Buck, the court determines it first, correct? Well, if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will fucking let me know. But I don't think I am. So let's read that again. As discussed below, the court should preclude alternate perpetrator evidence as to each because the defendant has not provided admissible evidence linking them to the homicide as required under Meister. The defendant first offers redacted. All of this redacted. And redacted's proximity to 2 of the victims hours before the homicides. Without something else later that night is not probative evidence as excludable under Idaho Rules of Evidence 403. Sidebar, your rules of evidence never trump the defendant's due process rights. The defendant has the right to confront the witnesses, confront the evidence, and confront the state's case. And if the state chose to use these 4 alternative perpetrators as their witnesses, they opened the fucking door for them to be questioned. Right? So I guess what really bugs me here is that the judge absolutely knows due process rights always trump evidentiary rules, right? So why the fuck is Hippler here in the end, at the end of all of this, tossing out everything that the defense presented, knowing damn well the defense was presenting the state's own case in chief and the state's own witnesses and the state's own exhibits, lab reports, all of it regarding these alternate perpetrators. And Hippler's trying to say, well, sorry, rules of evidence say it's inadmissible, it's irrelevant, speculation, and I'm not going to let it in, right? So violated the due process right of the defendant in favor of rules of evidence. Am I reading that right? Is that correct? Does that sound, do I sound like, I mean, if I sound like a dick, that's okay. I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I'm just being dead serious. The fact of the matter is your due process right always trumps rules of evidence and evidentiary rules. So why the fuck is Hippler here at the end of all of this saying, well, so sorry, evidentiary rules say, fuck your due process right. You don't get to confront these witnesses, even though the state planned to use them. You don't get to confront the evidence, even though the state is the one who presented it as their fucking exhibits. How are you going to sit there and say that the defense's case regarding the alternative perpetrators and their offers of proof are rank speculation, inadmissible, highly objective, when it's the state's case in chief? Particularly looking at redacted, the defendant next points to 3 lab reports, merely reflect as a part of redacted's cooperation with the investigators, he voluntarily submitted a DNA sample and fingerprints. Tellingly, the defendant fails to note that the ISP forensic lab eliminated redacted's DNA from the crime scene. Oh, did you know? Redacted's DNA was not found on the knife sheath strap or in the DNA mixture found on the back of the sheet. Sidebar, BP, Lab Report 4, Exhibit S1, see States Exhibit S1, Lab Report 4. Single source male DNA is all that was recovered from the sheet, they said. Really now? You sure about that? Because this is the state here. This isn't the defense. This is the state. And the state is saying here is, hey, by the way, these alternate perpetrators, yeah, they were once suspects.
We literally got their DNA, we compared it, and our lab cleared them. Their DNA was clear. And we even tested it from the mixed sample found on the back of the sheet. Excuse me, mixed sample on the back of the sheet. You found male DNA mixed on the back of the sheet. Interesting. And it's not coworkers. Oh, and you had to compare it to all of these other people that you eliminated, huh? Really? Oh, is this what the YSTR testing was also done for? Is this also what the YSTR testing was also done for? Maybe, just maybe. Swamp Rose, Kiki darling. Oh my goodness, hello. Beautiful Kiki. Always so good to see you. So yeah, let's do this again. Per 1, redacted, cooperated with investigators, voluntarily submitted a DNA sample, and fingerprints. Redacted's DNA was not found on the knife sheath strap, which DNA was found that matched to the defendant. Really? The strap? You found the defendant's DNA on the strap, did you? Are you so sure about that? Are you so sure about that? I thought you found his DNA on the inside button snap. Correct? I'm looking at my chat. I thought they found his DNA on the inside button snap of the sheet. What the fuck is this? Found it on the strap? So which is it? They said inside button snap, right? Trace DNA lab is in here. Where? Oh my goodness, Miss Audrey Cakes, beautiful darling. Where the hell have you been? We've all missed you so much. I was literally just asking about you yesterday. It's so good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well and taking care of yourself. I miss you. Detective Mowry inside my belly button. Hi, Audrey, honey. So good to see you. So yeah, okay, so interesting. So according to the state here, this redacted alternate perpetrator, their DNA was not found on the sheath strap like the defendant's DNA was, nor was this alternate perpetrator's DNA in the mixture that was found on the back of the sheet. There is another man's DNA mixed in with victim DNA on the back of the sheet, and it's not fucking Koberger's. We were told it was only single source mail located on the sheet, correct? And we never heard nothing about the strap. It was the inside button snap. Hella, I just saw your comment. The link to this actual document, I did put it in the description of the video, but hang on, hon, I'll put it in the chat for you right now. That if anybody wants to fucking follow along, they can. This just became unsealed, I think yesterday, maybe today at some point. I don't know. It may have been there yesterday and I just missed it, but there you go. There's the link for it. Correct. There is mixed DNA on the back of the sheet. These 4 alternative perpetrator males had their DNA compared to the male sample that was pulled from the mixed sample. So they pulled a male profile from that mixed sample. And according to the state, these 4 alternative perpetrators were all cleared by the lab because the lab made sure that their DNA didn't match this DNA from the back of the sheet. Button side down, honey. Jen. Yes. Button side down. You're welcome, Hella. Anytime. Hopefully my audio is holding up a bit better, friends. So yeah, let's continue reading. And according to the state here, that would be in the States Exhibit S1, and it's going to be in your DNA Lab Report 4. Full disclosure, I'm waiting on my FOIA for the lab reports from Matthew Gamet. I'm also waiting a couple other things as well, just for clear, including the 7,000 list 360 photos that were taken of the crime scene. I'm also waiting for my cost estimate on those as well. ISP Lab Report 7 excludes redacted's DNA from the swab taken in Xana Renault's bedroom and from DNA found on Miss Morgan's fingernails. That'll also be in Lab Report 7, Exhibit S2. ISP Lab Report 13 excludes redacted's DNA from the samples from the fingernails of all of the other victims, as well as swabs taken of the stairwell at the residence, the upper floor banister, and the bottom of the handrail at the scene of the crime. States Exhibit S3, ISP Lab Report 13. ISP Lab Report 26 excludes redacted's DNA from a sample taken on the north wall of the stairwell at the residence, another sample taken from the half wall at the residence. That'll be in Lab Report 26, Exhibit S4. Lab Report 31 excludes redacted's DNA from the sample taken from the door of Miss Logan's bedroom. So, this alternate perpetrator, allegedly, their DNA was compared to all of these samples, including the mixed sample from the back of the sheet. The defendant submits the law enforcement investigation reports. The defendant next submits 3 law enforcement investigation reports redacted. First, these reports and their contents are hearsay. Well, hearsay is admissible. Hearsay can be admissible. Just about this last night, actually. I'm trying to remember what did she cite? What case did she cite? I think it was something South Carolina. Stever versus South Carolina or something like that. South Carolina versus Stever, something like that, where hearsay evidence can be admissible regarding alternate perpetrators. I'm blanking. I don't give you the wrong information. These reports and their contents are hearsay. Okay. That said, they demonstrate is that redacted affirmatively reached out to law enforcement investigators and voluntarily cooperated with them, including providing his DNA. Defendant's speculation that this somehow suggests culpability is without foundation. 3 law enforcement investigation reports. That said, all these reports demonstrate is that redacted affirmatively reached out to law enforcement investigators and voluntarily cooperated with them, including providing DNA. I wonder if this is Joe Waller. The balance of the defendant's submissions are comprised of references, all redacted. In some, the state respectfully admits that the defendant's submissions regarding redacted do not even rise to the level of mere inferences he could have committed the crimes, much less evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking him to the actual perpetration of the crime. The defendant's submissions continue with regard to redacted and are inadequate the same way as discussed with respect to redacted. Redacted's DNA was excluded. One, from the mixture on the back of the sheath. There it is again. Mixed sample, back of the sheath, male profile is pulled. All of these alternative perpetrators are male. 2, from the sample from Xana Kernodle's bedroom. 3, from the samples found under Miss Mogan's fingernails. 4, from the fingernails of all the other victims. And 5, swabs taken above the stairwell at the residence, the upper floor banister, and the bottom of the handrail at the scene of the crime. Redacted's DNA was also excluded from the swabs of the north stairwell wall and half wall, and from Miss Mogan's bedroom door. Really? Defendant next alleges Redacted's alibi as to his whereabouts and activities on the early morning of November 13th cannot be corroborated. This is incorrect. All redacted. Defendant next objects that redacted. This is not probative of a connection between redacted and the crimes. As he did with redacted, defendant then cites, quote, many tips that redacted should be considered suspect. Really? Many tips that redacted should be considered a suspect. So defendant Koberger is citing, quote, many of these tips that this person should be considered a suspect. Ooh, I wonder which tips those are. Or who this is. As I did with redacted, defendant then cites many tips that should be considered. Many tips that redacted should be considered a suspect. Yet there is no evidence of any tip, which would be hearsay anyway, in the defendant's filing, other than statements attributed to redacted. Okay. No evidence of any tip, huh? Sure. Sure, there's no evidence of any tip. Ooh, maybe it might be that tip that Anne happened to oopsie poopsie surprise. Look at this. We found this motherfucking tip. Hmm, hmm. Maybe it's that one. Yet there is no evidence of any tip, which would be hearsay anyway, in the defendant's filings, other than the statements attributed to redacted. Offer of proof regarding alternative perpetrator trial. Okay, I'll look at that. The balance of the defendant's admissions regarding redacted, as with the others, are largely hearsay and are at best, quote, mere inferences that redacted could have committed the crimes. There is no evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking redacted to the actual perpetration of the crime. Defendant refers to redacted. As redacted and redacted, DNA was excluded from the strap at the back of the knife sheath. In addition, redacted was excluded from the sample taken from the victim's fingernails. Oh, yeah. From the swabs above the stairwell, the upper floor banister, and at the bottom of the handrail. ISP Lab Report 26 excludes redacted from the swab taken of the north wall stairwell of the crime scene and the half wall of the crime scene. ISP Lab Report 31 excludes redacted DNA from the sample taken from Moga's bedroom door. The defendant notes that redacted was familiar with the victim in their residence and lived nearby. Aside from that fact, and all of this redacted, the other observations of proximity are not unique to redacted. Indeed, it appears that there were numerous people who were familiar not only with the victims, but also the 1122 King Road residents. Defendant also makes note that redacted. This too is not suspicious. Well, I bet it is if it's all redacted. The defendant also alleges, look, this looks like motherfucking Epstein files, bro. Look at all this blacked out shit. This looks like when you go over to like the CIA vault. Anybody ever poked around, done a little pokey poo, peeky poo inside the CIA vault? The CIA vault, just fun. Anybody? That's usually what the documents over at the CIA vault look like. It looks like this. Just saying. The defendant also alleges all of this shit regarding this alternate perpetrator. The defendant also alleges this the fire likely could have killed these people because of X, Y, and Z. And defendant also alleges this person likely is your perpetrator because of X, Y, and Z. I'm just speculating on what that says, but it's all redacted. Redacted was fully cooperative with the investigators, providing DNA and consenting. Redacted. Again, the defendant's allegations do not rise to the level of even an inference that Redacted committed the murders, much less constitute evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking Redacted to the actual perpetration of the crime. Finally, the defendant submits Redacted as an alternative perpetrator. The defendant's attachments clearly reflect that Redacted was cooperative and voluntarily submitted a DNA sample. ISP lab reports 13 and 31 exclude Redacted's DNA from any of the samples from the crime scene or the victims. It was inconclusive as to the sample from Miss Mogan's fingernails. Really? What was their likelihood ratio? What do you mean inconclusive? They fell in inconclusive range with that state, this person. ISP Lab Report 26 also excluded Redacted's DNA from the samples from the north wall of the stairwell at the scene as well as the half wall at the scene. Redacted's only possible connection to any of the victims was redacted. This behavior is not probative of any role in the homicides and is also excludable under Rule 404. Defendant also alleges that Redacted, and then this is how you know it's all true. Everything defense says, this is how you know it's all true, right here. We always see Hitler say it. We always see Hitler say it, and it's right here. Regardless, even if any of this is true, the act does not provide any evidence of connection to the crime, much less the type of evidence required under Meister. Again, under Meister, you wouldn't even have to present your offer of proof for alternate perpetrators until fucking trial. But regardless, even if that's enough, even if blank, 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 fucking fuck. Right. Exactly, Joanne. Even if. And that's how you always know, friends. Lucy, darling, if you're still here, you know. You know what I mean. Right? This is how you know, because this is Hitler's favorite thing to use to, even if what you're saying is true, I'm not going to fucking allow it anyway. So what the state is saying here, regardless, even if this alternate perpetrator did X, Y, or Z, this act does not provide any evidence of a connection to the crime, much less the type of evidence required under Meister. The balance of defendants' proffers regarding Redacted are largely hearsay, and some would also be precluded by IRE 403 and 404. Redacted. Well, rules of evidence never trump due process rights. Evidentiary rules never trump due process rights. Perhaps the most obvious failure of defendants' proof is the fact that Redacted. Once again, defendants' submissions do not even rise to the level of a mere inference that Redacted could have committed the homicides, much less evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking Redacted to the actual perpetration of the crime. In addition to the foregoing, None of the defendant's submissions even hint at any connection between these four individuals and the defendant himself. Let's read that again. In addition to the foregoing, none of the defendant's submissions even hint at any connection between these four individuals and the defendant himself. Based on the undisputed evidence and what appears to be his theory of the case, the defendant likely will argue that the true killer or killers committed these crimes and also framed the defendant by placing his K-bar knife sheath at the scene. Look at this, K-bar knife and sheath at the scene. Look at how that's written. Let me make it bigger. See that? Everybody see that? Defendant likely will argue that the true killer or killers committed these crimes and also framed the defendant by placing his K-bar knife slash at the scene. Really now. Oh, really now. Beep, beep. Oh, how long have I been asking Idaho, where are the knives? How long have I been saying there's a fucking knife? How long have I been saying it? I know I've been asking for a very big, I've said it so many times. There is no way they didn't find a single bladed weapon in this fucking house. And the state here, yeah. Is this Hippler fizzy cake? No, this is the state. This is the state and their objection to the defendant's offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators. This is the state's objection. So isn't that interesting? According to the state here, the defendant is likely going to argue that the true killer or killers committed these crimes and also framed the defendant by placing his K-bar knife slash sheath at the scene. But nothing in the defendant's submission points to any of the alternate perpetrators accomplishing this or having the motive or means to do it. Okay, well, what's Brian's motive and means? Because the state didn't provide that either. Nor does the defendant connect any of them to a K-bar knife. Interesting. Whether the one the defendant purchased in March of 2022 or another K-bar. Defendant's submissions also do not connect any of the individuals to Hyundai, and there's all this rejected. Conclusion. Based on the above, the state respectfully prays for an order from this court prohibiting the defendant from arguing an alternate perpetrator theory. The defendant is free to cross-examine these individuals. They are called by the state, but they are called by the state, but again, should be barred from suggesting or arguing that any of them are alternative perpetrators of the homicides, if they are called by the state. Well, what did we learn last night after we read through the defense's reply to this, right? Is that, well, the state in fact did decide they weren't going to call them. Instead, the state just wanted to rely on the lab report saying, see, we cleared them. Don't get your panties in a bunch, Anne. We already investigated them and cleared them. And even though we were still investigating them as of June of this year, yes, some of these alternate perpetrators are still being investigated as of June of this year. It's okay. We cleared them. Trust us. What are you getting so upset about, Anne? We cleared them. Don't worry, darling. We investigated them. We cleared them. You're barking the wrong fucking tree, Anne. Miss Messeth. Just trust the state that they cleared all these people. Exactly, Lucy. Right, mass gaslighters, if they're called by the state. So, if you guys didn't get to hear the read-through last night of the defense's reply to this, I did link it in the description of the video. I promise the audio was amazing the whole way through, and like the last 3 minutes, StreamYard started having problems. I'm not gonna read through that whole document again. I wish that I had waited, kind of, because I'm not sure if this document was also out yesterday and I just missed it, but I would have read them both together. But now, after reading this one tonight and having read defenses yesterday, it all makes sense. I promise you, read them both together, and it'll make sense. Read the defense, and you'll see what I mean too, because a lot of this gets cleared up by the defense, and they're like, no, actually, this everything that we presented for our offer of proof regarding the alternative perpetrator, it's literally state case sheet and their own exhibits and their witnesses. So that's interesting. So it's even more interesting to me that in fact, yep, it was not lone male DNA recovered from this fucking sheet. There are multiple mixed samples on this sheet, front and back. Period. It is what it is. And some kind of YSDR testing had to be done to the mixed sample on the back of the sheet in order for them to extract a male profile to be able to compare that male profile to a bunch of alternate motherfucking perps and suspects. If they are comparing it to the other male's DNA because they have a male profile to compare it to, if it was only female DNA on the sheet, it would bother to bring it to any males. There is male DNA on the back of that sheet that is not Brian Koberger's. And they want everyone to believe, nope, not true. We only found Koberger's DNA on the sheet. Their own fucking lab reports and the state's own filing here suggests otherwise. So, yes, multiple single source samples can be in the same object. Yes. Bill and the dark, that is a mixed sample from the back of the sheet that they were able to compare all of these other men, these male alt perps to. The mixed sample from the back of the sheet. I know, super, super interesting. Um, hmm. So yeah, I highly suggest you go read the defense's reply to this. Go read it on your own. You don't even have to listen to my live that I did last night about it. Seriously, just go read it. Hang on, I'll get it for you. Let me go grab it real quick, and we will. Hang on, I'm gonna put it in chat for you. That way, you guys can go read it. Right here, we just read through the last night, and I promise you it'll all make sense when you read it together. You'll understand what I mean too about Meister, Buck. I'm telling you, go look up Meister decision regarding your offer of proof for alternate perps. You normally would do that at trial. Okay, there we go. There's the link. So this is the defense doc here. So for anybody who wants to go read it, read them both together. And it'll make sense. Now that we just read this, you know, trust me, read defenses, it'll make sense. So yeah, interesting. Multiple mixed samples on the sheet. It wasn't just single source mail. I know we listened to Middleman and Miss Chapin in their interview with Brian Enton recently, today or whenever it was posted this morning. I saw like 5 this morning because I was up the dick crack of dawn for no reason at all. So yeah. And even Middleman said in that interview, she said that, oh, it was single source male DNA. That's what she said. It's literally what she said, single source male DNA. How the fuck did you know that, Miss Middleman, if you never even tested the sheath? The sheath was never in your possession, correct? Blaker says he just flew a fucking swab to you in a vial. So how the fuck Miss Middleton know whether or not it's only single source mail recovered from the sheath if they themselves never had possession of the sheath to test it? The Middlemans did not extract a raw profile from that sheath. The Middlemans never got the sheath. I don't know what the fuck she means. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm really not. I'm not being disrespectful or rude or anything. I just have serious, serious questions because there's no way that Othram would have been able to verify that the swab that they got actually came from the sheath unless they had the actual piece of evidence. So, Kaleida Hope, hello, darling. I can't do that because I don't know how, honey. I'm so sorry, Kaleida Hope. I don't know. iPhone membership link in chat. Can you drop the iPhone membership link in chat? I don't even know where that is, honey. I wish I could do that for you, darling, but I can't, and I don't even know how to help you find that, honey. I'm so very sorry. I wish I could. I appreciate you wanting to become a member. I really do. I don't know where that link is, honey. I had a couple people in my live last night who were trying to figure it out, and they did. I just don't know how they did it. They were also asking the same thing about iPhone. Yes, I know, right, Jen? Mhm. Well, what's wild is that Mrs. Middleman and Stacy Chapin did that interview with Brian Enton. I think it's out at some, I don't know, is it Crime Con or whatever they're doing? And, I don't know. I was listening to the interview and I thought it was just so interesting that even Ms. Middleman is saying, yeah, it was only single source mail located. And I'm like, what? Because I'm reading the state's own docs and, you know, no, no, that's not true. There were multiple DNA samples recovered from the sheath and more than one male that isn't Brian, which is why they're comparing it to all of these other alt perp males, allegedly, right? Isn't why they, because this is what happened here, right? Defense took the state's case in chief and used it for their alternate perpetrator evidence. They presented it as their offer of proof. They took the state's own witnesses and the state's own exhibits. The court said, no, absolutely not. It's just rank speculation. Just let that marinate. The defense took the state's case in chief, presented it as their proffer for offer of proof for alternate perpetrators, and the judge said, this is rank speculation at best. It was their witnesses and their evidence and their exhibits. And what the defense wanted to do was be able to call these people, cross-examine them, right? When did you get your DNA? How did you cooperate? What did the state do? Were you ever asked to do this, this, or this? Were you at the home? When were you at the home? Are you sure you weren't there? Do you understand what I'm saying? They planned on presenting their offer of proof for alternate perpetrator trial. That's what the defense was planning on doing. And because the state filed their motion in limine for the alternate perpetrator evidence to be kept out first, they asked the court to go with the Buck standard, which means the defense would have to present that to the court first, and the court would determine whether or not relevant or admissible. Whereas if you go with the Meister standard, you wouldn't present it until trial. I think what they were getting at here, don't be hating, is that it's not that the case against BK was speculation at best, but if you're using the state's own witnesses and then the exhibits that pertain to those witnesses to be able to say, see, because the defense was going to offer them up all in a Perps trial. So the state was preparing to counter that. They were already in place, getting ready for that to say, nope, nope, actually, here's the lab reports of the work we did. We already investigated these people and we cleared them. And just get her panties in a bunch of nothing. We are cleared these people. That's how this was gonna play out had this gone to trial. And the state did not file the motion in limine for alt perps. Technically, alternate perpetrator evidence can be presented at trial or muster, if I remember correctly. And that's what they were exactly planning on doing. They were going to present this all at trial and literally cross-examine the state's own witnesses who the state claimed they cleared. According to Ms. Mass in the defense's reply to this, she says that there is purported diligence. She's making it sound like there was no due diligence on behalf of the state here to actually clear people. And they're just trying to make it look like so. So it's pretty interesting. You actually read this and then go read defense's reply. And even if you go all the way back to the initial, like maybe that's what I'll do. My next live will go right back to the original motion in limine, the defense's objection, the state's response, right? The reply, and then the judge's order. And then we can go ahead and look at this. Like I'm just saying, put it all in order. It all goes together. Take everything for alternate perpetrators, put it all together, and it's all going to make sense. The defense is absolutely getting ready to literally eat the living shit out of the state's own witnesses on the stand because these now witnesses were once suspects. And right up until June of this year, some of those witnesses were literally still being investigated by the state. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you. Let's wrap this real quick. We won't go through the whole thing, but I'll share it with you. It's the defendant's reply to States Objection. Oh, let me hide that comment real quick. So super quick. We'll just look at this. Da, 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 da. This is why I keep saying that your due process rights always trump evidentiary rules right here. U.S. v. Lopez Alvarez, 9th Circuit Court, 1992. So your due process rules trump evidentiary rules, always. That's number one. Next. Right here. Each of the alternative perpetrators identified by the defendant and listed as witnesses by the state are more closely tied in knowledge, opportunity, and possible motive to the crime than Mr. Koberger. All four of the alternate perpetrators are linked circumstantially or directly to the crime. What was I looking for to show you this? Hang on. I'll find it. Don't worry. It'll come back to me. Right here. The state's purported diligence ruling out possible perpetrators, especially those close connections to the victims, is issue the state is putting front and center at trial in its own case in chief. So the state's purported diligence in ruling out possible perpetrators was going to be put front and center at trial in its own case in chief. Right here. This is what I was talking about earlier as well. Hearsay may be admissible in such cases because 6 supports the Amendment right to due process, to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and to call witnesses is never precluded. Right here. Fairness and trustworthiness of evidence are important. Mr. Koberger-Cropper includes details that allow this court to see that there is trustworthiness to his basis for naming the 4 alt perps, right? Yes, because we took the state's case in chief, Your Honor. Do you trust the state? Do you believe that the case is trustworthy? Because if you do, that's what we're using for our alt perp shit. Oh, but that's right. You said it's rank speculation at best, right? What was it though that I was coming over here to look for to show you? To see you don't believe me, I'll show it to you. Damn it, what coming for? I lost my train of thought. Fine, don't worry. Hang on. Da, da, da. um, I don't remember what I was coming to look at this to show it to you. Damn it. Right here. Maybe this is what I was looking for. Mr. Koberger suspects that the state has listed the 4 alternate suspects as a ruse to make it look as if they will put the 4 males on the stand to deny their involvement. These witnesses must be confronted, and therefore, if the state seeks not to call them to the stand, but instead uses lab reports to portray elimination, the door is open to confront that evidence, and Mr. Koberger should be allowed to call the alternate perpetrators and other witnesses to show their connection to the crime. So the defense was saying, well, we think that actually what they were doing here is they were just putting these 4 alternate suspects, they were using them as a ruse to make it look as if they're going to put these 4 males on the stand to deny their involvement. And instead, what the state did, they decided to call as witnesses and they're just going to rely on lab reports to portray elimination. But because you included these people as your witnesses and then the exhibits to go along with these people that relate to these people and how you investigated them and cleared them, well, opening the door doctrine means now you've opened the door for the defense to cross-examine all of these fucking people. And the state said, well, fuck, we can't call them then. Shit, we'll just rely on the lab reports. So that's why the state in their thing is saying, you know, we're not going to, should the state decide to call them? Should the state decide to call them? What the defense was getting at is no. Even if the state isn't going to call them, we're going to because they opened the door to all 4 of these motherfuckers by claiming they cleared them and wanting to use them as witnesses. That's what it was. We're still being investigated in June. Right here somewhere. Hang on. It's in here somewhere. As June 2025, some of these people were still being investigated. Where is it? Da, 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 da. It's in here. Don't worry. Find it. Where is it? Where is it? Let me do this. Let me just search the document. June. in here somewhere. I promise. Remember reading it last night. Where is it? Let me see. Sorry, guys. I'm like having a blonde moment or something. No offense against blondes. I just read this last night. All right. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. I just wanted to be able to show you guys. In fact, according to this message here, some of these alternate suspects were still being investigated. Maybe it's right here. Mr. Koberger did not produce these suspects. The state did. And in some instances, continue to investigate them. Or here we go. Mr. Koberger did not produce these suspects. The state did. And in some instances, continue to investigate them or simply stop their investigation, ignoring evidence that there was more than one perpetrator. As of June 13th, 2025, of this filing, according to Miss Massett, just a couple months ago, the state was still, in some instances, continuing to investigate some of these alternate perpetrators, but also calling them as witnesses. Isn't that super interesting? So the state wants to use these 4 people as witnesses, even though they were originally suspects who were allegedly investigated and cleared, but also the state is still investigating them as of just a couple months ago. Really now? Really now? Does that make sense? Hang on, friends. Hot flash. Holy shit. Minute. All right. So yeah, that interesting. Mr. Koberger did not produce these suspects. The state did, and in some instances continue to investigate them or simply stop their investigation, ignoring evidence that there was more than one perpetrator. So, the state is still investigating in some instances some of these alternate perpetrators as of June of this year, even though the state also wanted to call them as witnesses. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. I just think it's kind of, you know, pretty crazy. Dory, how you doing, honey? Welcome on in. Tell us what. Hello. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys, exactly stone shit, right? Exactly. I don't know how they have either. So they kept them as witnesses to keep them secret in the beginning and a trial, and they want to act like they're not witnesses. Right. Yeah, that's what it sounds like, Stone. Exactly. They were trying to it sounds to me like they're trying to hide the information of the all perps from the defense for a while. That's just my opinion. Oh, well, Batsheet, I hope you have a great night. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe out there. I'm free. My son is tired of me asking him about his DNA. Listen, if you heard some of the voice texts that I sent Lucy today, holy shit. You'd probably either laugh or cry. I need JJ to come explain it to me like a kindergartner, exactly how the Chapins working with Othram in the background on their case, quote, their case, would ever help Othram get to Koberger. I'm so confused as to how Chapins doing anything with Othram in the background throughout this case would ever help lead to Koberger. I just don't get it. Maybe it's a puzzle piece missing here, and it's totally fun. Yeah, exactly, Gen 7, right? Remember when, even when we were reading it, and I was like kind of joking, but not joking, and I was like, holy shit, imagine if SC is Stacy Chapin. Like, I'd absolutely pass out, and spontaneously combust. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting when you think about it. I don't know exactly how the Chapins and like whatever their family, lineage or I don't know what they were doing with Othram in the background. And I'm not trying to be a dick. Like I didn't post that today to try to accuse the Chapins of anything or nothing. It wasn't anything like that. I have genuine, serious questions as to. So the Chapins are working with Othram in the background of this case, and somehow that helps lead to Koberger. Okay. I need someone to explain that to me like I'm kindergarten. I know JJ, he's the lineage, the linergies, right? For fuck's sake, Fitziana. JJ's all about those linergies, right? Maybe JJ could just explain to me like I'm in kindergarten. I don't understand how Chapin equal Koberger, or how the Chapins take 4 steps lead you to Koberger. You know what I mean? I don't know how you start at the Chapins and get to Koberger. I just don't know how that's. Maybe they'll explain it to us one day. What if SC is sample C? Right. Could be. Could be funny. I think we talked about this before, right? Everybody's trying to come up with what they think, right? For what SC could be. I think P. Fox said skin cells, right? Somebody else said second cousin. There was somebody else that was right. Loose sample C, yeah, could be because they had so many mixed, right? Because they had all mixed. Yeah, you're right. Could be South Carolina stone, exactly. We really don't know because, as Gabriella Vargas explained to us, you can literally name it anything you upload it. I could name my profile Marilyn Monroe if I wanted to. I could name my profile, snarkety snark snark snark. You know what I mean? Right, Sister C, second cousins, skin cells, that just it's just the way, maybe it's just because of the way that she said it, and maybe she didn't mean to say it that way or whatever. It was just interesting to me the way that Stacy was talking about working with Othram in the background for their case, meaning talking about Stacy's case, right, with Ethan. And I don't understand how you, working in the background with Othram, helps get to Koberger. That's all. I just, I don't appreciate Brian Endon not only claiming that Othram tested the sheet, right? But then the woman from Othram didn't even bother to correct him and say, hey, just to clarify, we never actually tested the sheet. The sheet's not in our possession. Or maybe it was. Maybe actually it was. We'll just, whatever's going on here with that sheath, and the DNA that was recovered off of that sheet, all I know is that it wasn't single source mail. There were multiple samples on that sheet. And Bill himself even admit that shit, or whoever the fuck spelled that. Who was that, actually? I should have looked. Was that an I? No, it says Thompson. Okay, so Bill here, even Bill is saying that there's a sample on the back of the sheet. I don't know. I don't know. Correct, Deborah. Yes. The 4 alternate perpetrators were originally suspects that the state allegedly investigated, took their DNA, compared it to multiple other samples taken from the crime scene, including whatever male sample they were able to extract out of a mixed sample from the back of the sheet. And then they turned these people into witnesses, even though some of them they were still investigating just a couple months ago. Yeah. And I have the links to both the docs in the description of this video. So for anybody who wants to go read the documents yourselves, I always link them. I try to remember to link them. So we could do this first. Here we go. This is what we just read tonight. I'll drop it one more time for everyone. So this is the state's objection. And then this is the defense's reply. So if you go ahead and read both of these together, it'll probably make a little bit more sense. I read the defense last night in a live, so there you go. And there's both the links. But yeah, you know, I'm very open-minded, right? Like, I'm totally cool if you can explain it to me. Okay, cool. Like, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. The problem is that the more explaining they do, the less mistakes. And that's not my fault. That's theirs. It's not my fault that your shit makes less sense every time you open your mouth. I'm sorry. That's not my fault. It's not my fault that the more stuff that trickles out makes less sense. That's their fucking fault. I'm just over here to read it and make sense of it myself. But it just seems like the more and more we get, the less sense it makes. So, you know, it's not my fucking fault. Your shit makes less sense. What do you want me to do? Make it make sense. You're the experts. Why asking the questions? I just need to know how Stacy Chapin gets you to Brian Koberger. So, I mean, if anybody knows the answer, Mrs. Chapin, no disrespect at all. If you ever hear this, I just need to know what you mean when you say you're working in the background with Othram for this case, and that somehow helps them get to Koberger. I'm super confused. And I just need to know how that all works. So, anyways, then again, as I always say here, friends, I don't know shit. I'm no one. I'm just asking questions. Don't listen to me. Read the documents yourself and come to your own conclusions. I don't know shit. So, anyways, I think that's all I got for you tonight. I mean, I would have liked to have, you know, I would have liked to have done a couple more things tonight, but it's fine. It's already 10:30. I wasn't even sure how well the audio was going to do. And to be honest, it's probably all shit. And I won't know until I go back and listen on replay. But hopefully it wasn't too bad tonight. And maybe after all of the solar flares are done and blood moon is done and the eclipse is done, maybe things can get back to normal with our electronics over here. Hopefully we don't have another Carrington event anytime soon. I know I nerd out on shit, guys, so those of you who don't know, sidebar, little fun fact about me, space weather is like my jam. I absolutely always I always monitor the sun, solar wind speeds, solar density, like all of that stuff. Check the SDO every day. I check for geomagnetic storms. I watch solar flares, things like that. And I pray to God we don't have another Carrington event, okay, on this planet. Because if you don't know what the Carrington event is, you should go look it up. And you probably won't sleep a little while after you do, but it's okay. Miss Charlene, yes, exactly. Yes, I'm into all that stuff. Yes, typically we have a full lunar eclipse on the 7th with a blood moon, and Uranus is about to go retrograde, if I remember correctly. And then something else. All I know, oh, and we just had a huge X-class solar flare. And I think we're in like geomagnetic storm 1 right now, possibly going up into 2, into tomorrow. Then along with, everything going on with the planets and the sun and the moon. Yeah, we also have big earthquake watch, so keep your eyes out. There may be some like really big magnitude earthquakes across the globe in the next day or 2. Just saying. This is the shit I geek out on. Yeah, exactly. Good luck sleeping. Yeah, Schumer residents. I know. Yeah. Yes, typically this is why everybody's been having problems yesterday, today. It's probably going to continue tomorrow into Monday and possibly Tuesday. So we'll see. We'll see. Just not want the power grid to go out due to a solar flare. Like if we ever lose the power grid, like they did back in the, during the Carrington event, back then it wasn't too bad. Wasn't much of a power grid back then. Now, get it. People would be fucking cannibals within 3 days if they couldn't get their phone and, a vape. Half the planet would turn into fucking, they'd be eating the cats and dogs and shit within a week. Even kidding you, it's gonna be honor. We ever use the power grid, bro. People are not gonna know how to act. They will not know how to act. That's why we stay strapped. Keep your gas tank full. You know what I'm saying? You just never know when you might need to bug out. And I don't care what anybody says. Yes, we will bug out. I will not stay in the city. Are you shitting me? You guys know who I live next to. Are you shitting me? You think I'm gonna stay here? The grid goes down? Fuck no. We out in the woods real quick. I will absolutely not stay in the city if the grid ever goes down, friends. Just saying. The government, has done, the government themselves prepares for these things. So, when people say like, oh my God, you're a prepper? Oh my God, you're a prepper? Governments, they're the master preppers. Don't call me a fucking conspiracy theorist because I'm a air quote prepper. What do you think the government's doing with all of your money? Building all those DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, and sticking all of the fucking everything to the mountain complexes and burying deep mountains in the earth. That's what they're doing with all of your money. And you know why they're doing that? Oh, well, to protect themselves and for continuity of government. Should the grid ever go down? Should society descend in chaos? That's exactly why they've been building these things. It's continuity of government. It's so when shit goes sideways, they can still, they will always have government in place to control what's left of the people. That's just my opinion. So yes, I went off on my little sidebar tangent about solar flares and the Carrington event and the grid going down and prepper status. Brainworms. Yeah, exactly, Jen. You know what I'm saying, girl. Miss Charlene, you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, it is what it is. We're probably all fucked, you know? At some point, we'll all be screwed, but just keep your heads up, friends. I know that, it's gonna be rough the next couple days, it really is. Emotions are gonna be high, people are gonna be feeling really angry and feisty and snappy, so just take deep breaths, try to be nice. I know I was in Willie's live today, and I think I told 2 people to fuck right off into the sun, actually, so, um, sorry I did that, but I think I did tell 2 people, actually, to fuck right off into the sun. Uh, so sorry about that. I mean, I kinda meant it, but I kinda didn't. They were rude, so, you know, but either way, maybe just having an effect on me too. I'm feeling extra like I don't know, last couple days I've been feeling extra like, ugh, not aggravated, but more like just like brain melting. Anybody else? Think I even said that to Fitzy in one of my voice texts to her. I was like, it feels like my brain is actually melting, trying to even think about how in the actual fuck Chapin leads to Coburger. And it made my brain fucking melt. And I think I sent her like several voice texts about it. Either way. Well, nah, Jesse. I mean, I only went up to let him know his audio was super bad, just like mine, but it's okay. At least he knows now. At least he knows now. Haha, it also happened to you, sir. It's not just me all the time. It's not always just me, guys. Lucy. Yeah, you know Heather, right? But yeah, so listen, mods, love you. Members, love you. Subscribers, love you. Lurkers, haters, love you. Hope you guys take care of yourself. Stay safe. Fill up your gas tank. It won't hurt to go maybe stock up on a little some extra candles and batteries for your flashlights and maybe a little extra food for your pets and some TP. You just never know. You just never know, right? If you don't have it and you can stop a little, do it. We got a couple more days of this shit. Let's get through the eclipse. Let's get through the solar flares and see how we do. Okay. But I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome night. Kim, right? Yes, Kim Young, right? Thank you so much, Kim Young, for giving 5 memberships tonight. You're amazing, and congratulations to 5 people who got a gifted membership. And Kaleidahope. Kaleidahope figured it out. Welcome, new member, Kaleidahope. So thanks, everybody. I truly appreciate all of you. I hope you guys have an awesome Saturday night and stay safe and see you back here soon. Yeah, don't worry. More docs, the more we'll see each other. Je Jesse, love you, darling. You go have a great night. Angel, love you, honey. Stay safe, everyone. Fitzy, love you. You know I do right, bro. I'll probably send you a voice text early in the morning when I get my Starbucks. Good night, Dory. Good night, everybody. Stone, typically, all of you. Thank you so much. Audrey, so good to see you, honey. You changed your name, though, to Trace DNA Lab, so now I have to remod you. Y'all have to go comment on a video, Audrey, so I can remod you, honey, okay? Good night, everybody. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Toes. What up, gangsta? Good to see you, Toes. Hope you have a great night. Bye.